Okay, hi guys. I'm Christopher Clark. I'm gonna do a commission painting today for a customer who probably should be watching, or probably will be watching. Been doing for a while now, a couple years, and I'll do their finishing painting in oil. I should have filled that up first. Okay. It's going to be kind of purpley on top. I'm going to just blend in, so fade to more. It's going to be like more, just to introduce some other colors that are maybe unexpected. You know, it's kind of fun that way. Oh, better plug in the computer before it dies on me. That's always a bummer when my computer dies in the middle of a stream. I'm going to wipe away a little bit of this paint because it's going to be extra bright right in some of this area here. I'm also kind of indicating a little bit of the drawing where there's going to be some rim light and stuff. Yeah, I don't need a ton. Let this first layer dry pretty quick. Yeah, this gesso that I've started using isn't my favorite. It's a little too absorbent and it's a little too toothy. The stuff I was using before was a lot smoother, and I liked the smoother surface. I could wipe away paint a lot easier. It just felt smoother, and the paint, like, I could see brush strokes longer. This sort of absorbs into it. I don't love that. I got 4 tubs of the stuff now, so I got to use it. And it's fine. It's just me being extra picky. But, you know, that's how it goes. It's my artistic integrity, right? Let's see. I probably want a little bit of white, just in case I need to lighten up one of those values a little bit. And we'll do some green. Just a couple fun, I like to make a nice, fun, colorful underpainting. We'll do a little bit of, we'll do raw sienna today, why not? Because kind of our yellow. It's kind of like a yellow ochre. And we'll say a little touch of ultramarine blue. So I can make a purple out of that alizarin I got sitting there. Well, we got a lot of colors going on here. I definitely kind of want like a red. This particular lion has a name. What's his name? His name is Ntwatumela. Nichwadumela, yeah, which means he who greets with fire, which is pretty cool. So I want, honestly, going to use a little bit of red around here to maybe have kind of a fiery like texture, you know, just for fun. We're going to do a little bit of sort of a purple in the background here. I'm going to do a touch of green here and there just to mix it up. A little bit of sort of red. And here I can splash a little paint. Really get some fun colors going on here. I'm wearing my crummy hoodie, not crummy, but just my sort of work hoodie, you know. So I don't mind if it gets some ink on it or paint or whatever. I'm basically just mixing some water with some paint and flinging it on there. What if I do a scrape or two here and there too? I should spray down my paint also. You always gotta keep your paint and your tools and your palette, everything wet with acrylic paint. Otherwise it'll all dry out on you. Yeah, let's make this some fun mess colors here and there. So I'm going to cover a lot of this up with paint, with the oil, but you'll see it subtly underneath. So, whoa, there goes the palette knife. Getting too excited there. This will add a lot of character to it, I think. All these fun colors are going to combine to sort of form a cacophony of color. It's going to be kind of some red on the bottom. Let's move this brush out of the way. This is the kind of thing where you got to have fun with it. It's going to be covered up a lot with paint later. We'll do some drippies here and there. It's kind of an abstract experience at this point. Do this in a room where you can make a mess and wear clothes that you can get messy. So you still have sort of a motif of like this purples and the reds. All right, let's let that dry. You know what? I might plug in my heat gun and use that. Might be a little faster. It's a little noisier than the fan, but it definitely dries stuff faster than the fan does. Big out the big guns here. This is just a regular old heat gun I get at Home Depot. It was like 30 bucks or something. And it gets, I put it on the low setting. If I put it on the high setting, it sets off my smoke alarm. But this is great for doing these acrylic underpaintings. It evaporates the water really fast. And just makes the paint dry that much quicker so I can get on with what I'm doing. Suppose I should take a picture of this. Let's do that before I forget. Plug in my phone again. I could do this several times to really get a fun textury background there. I don't know how much I need to. Okay, that's good for now. I'm gonna put this, stand this up like this. Let's do a smaller brush. A little more purple on the top. A little more green here and there. He's got a sort of a really dark mane. That's probably the darkest part of that part of the painting there. So just a quick indication of that. I'm gonna bust out my old paint roller. Maybe a smaller one. I'm gonna hit this with some red. I'm gonna use this fire motif idea. Rather than actually painting fire in the painting, I'm going to use this sort of background of really hot red to imply that. And I'll sort of fade it out to an orangey quality over here. Put a little more. Yeah, that's fun. Love all that texture. I want some proper yellow here instead of just yellow ochre. We'll still maintain this. Make sure it's too orange or orangey, not so green. Yeah, and that can add some more color later. I did a charcoal study of this last week, and came out pretty cool. It's really just a one color piece though, or two colors subtly. Let's take a picture of that again, because it's awesome. We're also going to be making these stages of my painting available online. Let's hit this with some hot air. This might be even good to paint on. I might want to lighten that up a little bit with some lighter white, orange. Let's give that a second. I'll get some more, touch more red. Let's hose these down again. Oh, a little hiccup. Let's do a nice bright sort of orangish yellow here. Definitely is brighter here. Yeah, that should be good. As long as that's lightish, I can add more and lighten it up later when I'm doing the old oil. smush some more paint on there. So that's kind of fiery. Okay. Yeah, that should be good. Enough to start with. Yeah, why don't I can let that dry naturally. Now, let's unplug. I always paranoid about leaving my heat gun plugged in. It's gonna burn the house down or something. Okay, that was fun. Now I'm going to clean this up. This is drying. I get my oil paint out, and I can really go to town. Get to work, if you know what I mean. I got all this paint. Hang on a second. Extra paint. Here's a fun experiment. I always do this with my extra paint. I'll put it down here. So watch in the palette cam here. Here's all the paint I just scraped off of. Here's a fresh panel, just cut, nothing on it. This is going to be another painting at some point. Who knows what it is? But now it's a big pile of color. Something to start with. There's an experiment for you. So what's that going to be? Something at some point. I'm going to paint on it. Maybe a little cityscape or something. I'm doing a series of small pieces for a band gallery. I just got a bunch of spare panels set aside for that. So here's going to be a future painting, maybe of Italy or Paris or who knows what. So that's a fun experiment. If you have extra paint and an extra, panel, just smush some paint on it, and there's an underpainting for something else later. Just clean this up. Okay, gonna wash off this stuff. I'll be right back. pop this out. Just cleaning this off. Never let paint dry on your tools. Okay. Clean that off. And we're ready for oil. It always takes a few minutes to change mediums here. Yeah, it's nice and dry. Gotta refill. This is my little container that I put my medium in. This is the stuff I use the most. It's solvent-free fluid by Gamblin. It's safflower oil and an alkyd medium, which basically just helps oil paint dry faster. I put it in this convenient bottle that I can squeeze onto stuff. And once in a while I just gotta refill my little bottle here. I hope I have another bottle of this stuff because this one's almost empty. Ah, shit. Just got it all over the side of the palette. Okay, that'll do. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. And now that I made a mess, it's okay. Painting is about making messes. Now for the old oil. What's that? Water, mineral spirits, what is that? Got some titanium white, some cadmium lemon. I might do some cad yellow today. I don't know, I've been really liking the more greenish yellows lately. The more blue colored yellows versus the more orangey yellow. Get some yellow ochre, probably use a lot of that in this piece because it's a very, very warm painting. Do I have any more of my nickel azo yellow? Just a little bit. I will certainly use some of that in this painting. Where is it? Here it is. It's a really great color. Nickel Azo yellow. Some cadmium orange, faux show. Here's some transparent oxide brown. Transparent oxide red. This thing broke off of my little container thing here. I need to glue it back on. Cad red, definitely. See, I added some greens and purples in the underpainting because you definitely need to have some cools to balance out all these warms, otherwise it just looks monotonous. Alizarin, going to need some alizarin. Got my, this is Egyptian violet. It's like a dioxazine purple, but it's got this really great sheen to it. I think the color in it is dioxazine for the most part. It might be treated a little differently because it's got a fun little sheen. Won't need any phthalo blue today. Just jump into the Viridian. Scrape some of that out of there. And phthalo green. Okay. I gotta oil this baby up. And you gotta hydrate. Always gotta hydrate. The multicolored Arizona's hot-nail fruits. Lying with his eyes by his hands, the busy looking all the time. A soul confession which he donated to the National Trust. I'll be those for you. This is a cover. I wish I could have you guys listen to the same music I'm listening to. That would be fun. Kind of when I sing, because I sing all the time when I'm painting, it would actually make sense. And it could be like painting and karaoke. Wow, where's all this red coming from? Okay, just lube up the surface so it's just a little oily. I don't need it too slick, otherwise the paint will just slide all over the place. I got my brushes ready to go already. Let's get rid of this water spritzer thing. Alright, take a little brush here and sketch out my lion guy. Put a little medium here. Guess I could have kept the medium I spilled on the surface. We'll do it in yellow ochre and maybe a little bit of white. Just doing a quick outline here to plot in this guy. So here's his head. Big giant mane exploding everywhere as he's running right at us. That's all pretty good. Here's a foot, his hind foot right there. Here's a front paw, back paw. Doesn't make sense yet. Once I carve it out a little more, it will. Yeah, looking at the feed here, it doesn't make any sense at all. That's okay. I can indicate. Looks like I went a little too high with those lights. That's the bottom of his mane. Yeah, very good. And carve out where his ears are going to be. Let's get another brush. Maybe I can do some darker color on here. Sort of a brownish purple. One of my favorite colors is mixing transparent oxide brown with this Egyptian violet. It makes this great brownish purplish color. So here's the center line of his face. He's looking right at us. He's running right at us. Here's his nose. Mouth. He's not smiling at us. This could be a little taller up here, a little more mane. Let's do a light to indicate his ears. Here's his tail back here, which I had to sort of revise to make it fit on the in the composition here, sort of flying out behind him. Eyes. Let's see if that's half. That's half. It's a little lower. One, two. Okay, that's a big circle with a face in it, but I can carve out his bone structure later. There's a mane. I'm gonna keep going with this. Here's his other front paw. Yeah, there's his other. Here's his front paw, which I covered a little too much in light. In fact, this light should have been lower. A little lower there. Front paw, huge front paw. Here's this front paw. There's the back paw, buried in the dirt a little bit or something. And then here's between those two paws. Oh. Almost had to sneeze. Oh, nope, not gonna happen. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Those almost sneezes. There's a back paw. Like right there. Big old paw. God, those paws are huge. Probably as big as your face. Okay, it looks like it's looking good. Might as well take a picture. Let's do some bigger brushes to start with. Maybe. Oh, there's so much going on here. All right. Yeah. Kind of the whole thing is sort of ochre reddish. Okay, just gonna start in here with his mane. Oh, this stupid strap. I can never get this thing to stay, ever. It's always falling off. I should like hire someone to make me a nicer nicer apron thing. I'm gonna try to keep this loose. I'm seeing a group of this sort of greenish ochre around the eyes and the nose, and then around the ears, but it gets more orange. I was trying to look around what I can do with this color while I got it on my brush. It's a little lighter yellow. Oh, not quite that much. Lighter orange, I mean, here. And then here it's going to be a little more here's this side of the mane here. Let's hit those. Well, I'll get those ears in a second. Here's where I want it to get really bright and hot yellow. It's more warm here and it gets cooler over here. Well, let's do the cooler part since that's kind of where my brush is right now. If I had to pay $1 per brush stroke, I'd still make money on the painting. That's a good way to look at it. Let's go for the bright, hot yellow over here. I need to go this way, that would be helpful. Sometimes using the other hand helps you get the direction of brushwork that you want. So it helps me get that rim light that I want, and the edge is going in the right direction. See, warm to cool. Because this is light from the sun, this is light from the sky. And this is going to be real bright down here. Paw. Hope that's starting to read now as a line running at you. A little bit more rim light there. I'm going to lift this up for a second so I can do this. Put some orange on here. So you get this fiery quality to the paint. In honor of this fellow's name. Ooh, I covered up his rim light of his paw there. That's okay. It's right there. Here's my more blue, because he's got, we'll do a little light around the edge of that. There's his tail. That's a good start. Good general sort of block in there. I don't have a dark yet, do I? Let's put all these down. Don't need these yet. Okay, now we can start getting into his paws. this back paw is a little darker, so you can see it against. You gotta have just value contrast. Yeah, it looks great. Even if I do say so myself. Now this is fun. I want this to be really red. Inside here is a lot of reflected light down into this, and even right here. See, so much fun stuff I can do with color and paint that can't quite do with charcoal. Great study medium, but it just means I'm missing out on a lot of this fun stuff. Here's his sort of back leg. Very light, but then it definitely gets more this coolish, more red. I'm sorry, coolish, sort of bluish color. Jesus. Can't talk when I'm painting. It's almost this purple plane right here. I don't have a dark yet. Let's do a nice dark, juicy, dark purpley red. There's also some greens in here just about. Maybe a little lighter so I can really see the green. Got some purple in there, that's alright, that'll look good. Need a lot of different varieties of color to really make this thing work. Let's hit it with some red. Like he's ablaze. Ears. His ears definitely have a nice orange quality up in here, because I think there's light passing through them. Little can indicate some of the darker planes in here now. Now some of these get this green thing going on. So much color in here. It's not just you know, orange and tan. I'm going to switch to my smaller brush here in a second to really detail this out. Just kind of having fun with this big old giant. It's not even a big giant brush, but for the areas that I'm kind of doing it is, it's too big. But it looks great so far. Big brush strokes. You always use the biggest brush you can. And this needs to be darker. Push it back a little bit. I'm noticing the camera, I'm looking at the feed here, the camera adds a lot of saturation. The color is not that saturated. That's okay though. You guys gotta take my word for it that I know what I'm doing. Because I do. Yeah, I love scratching on color like that. And start indicating some of this background. In this case, there really isn't an environment, you know, a little bit of this sort of desert. So it really is a background more than I usually say. I don't like that term a lot of times, because it implies that it's less important. It's not, it's, you know, it's very important, but it definitely is very secondary and, you know, not a lot going on. Specific detail environment wise. I'm going to indicate some grassiness and stuff up here. And something that he's standing on, basically. Oh. Alright, let's get in here and start doing his face. Let's take a picture of that first. Oh, making plans for tonight. Let's jump into the smaller brushes here. Just looking and seeing what I need to adjust. Maybe move his mouth up and his nose up. His ears need to be a little bigger on either side. Okay. We'll do a dark. in his eye socket's a little more red, but it's definitely still darker. Ear, ear. I need an orange. Something. Make those ears a little bigger. Yeah, I love just grabbing a hunk of some other random color like green and mixing it into the mix here. Mixing it into the mix. Real good. Can add some sort of hair directional indications. Here's a sort of lighter. So I got a different color on every brush. Here's the mouth. Right around his eyes. Yes, this is so cool. It's almost a blue. Darker. Yeah, I love how there's like some green on his face. Where's my lighter colored, almost blue? I need a dark brownish something. Make those eyes a little. Yeah, I've already done this once in the study that I did. Super helpful. Because I'm sort of catching things that I've already encountered. Construction-wise, you know, value-wise, some sort of details that I've already figured out. Really helpful. So if it looks like I'm going through this quickly, it's because it's already the second time I've done it. That's why I do studies when I can. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get lazy and just jump right into the painting because it's exciting, and then I struggle with things. I can take my dark red and there's sort of like a crease between his eyes here, between his and his forehead. And I can sort of smash the paint around in different directions when you use different angles of the brush like this. Making furrows in his eyebrows and I can take my sort of lightish green, add some green here. That's looking good. There's sort of a layer of hair there. This is definitely kind of bluish in here. And all that red underpainting that I created is showing through now in little bits here and there. And then erase his mouth up a little. Where's my dark? Here it is. It's not quite this dark. It's a little more red. Red something. I think in faces in general, I tend to make them too long. I tend to make the nose too long. It's nice to know your tendencies so you can always look out for them. Apparently I do it on lions too, not just people. Do I have a regular sort of medium orange brush? Not yet. I do now. Blue, cool white, sort of around his muzzle there. And it fades to a lighter down here. And we'll make this will have a great rim light on it eventually. Hello from Australia. How are you? Like your style, draw animals. Oh, cool. Thanks for watching. Semi-awesome. Yeah, I don't only do wildlife. I've done my share of wildlife. I love to promote awareness of wildlife protection. So that's one reason why I like to do wildlife so much. This comes down a little bit more. Show me a monkey drawing you did in colored pencil. I don't know if you can do that here. You're welcome to email me if you want. My email address is chris@christopherclark.com. Let's do a lighter, my cool yellow up here. A touch of orange. Move that in a little bit more. This is this great jawline with it's nice. Where you can see the upper mandible, and then you see the cheekbones at the bottom. Super important to show those. And then it comes across sort of his eye orbits there. Where's my blue? Blue greenish. Cool yellow. Let's fill this in a little bit. Push that. I need to define the plane, but still show that it's like hair and movement and stuff. I can't do it too precisely. Okay, that looks like it's a little bit of his whisker thing. Let's push that in with some dark brown. Is that in far enough? Not quite. Let's push that in a little more. Let's make sure these match also, so this might come down a little further. I have to assume that him running is also distorting his face a little bit. Just like when you watch a person run in slow motion on a video or something, their face gets distorted here and there when they take a step. So if there's any weird proportions, I can only assume that that's what's causing them. Or if there's some asymmetry or something, which I have to decide if I want to correct for. Boom, that's awesome. Put a little rim light on the side of that muzzle, so that's where the sun is coming from. I can lighten that up more than it would be in my reference. Here's my light bluish sort of yellow. So I can blend in some of this. Whoa! I hate it when I do that. Gah. Can't really get moving. I fling the brush onto the palette. It picks up all this paint. That's okay, we're good. Need some lighter orange for some of this stuff up here. I notice how a lot of the stuff I'm applying by just you can smear the paint in different ways by holding the brush at different angles. You can explore a lot of fun things that way. Let's see, right on the edge of this ear, it's going to be a lot of light. Really hot right there. That's really bright. Didn't want that much. Wanted a little tiny bit. That helps bring the muzzle forward too. Emailed it to you. Would love your opinion. Okay, sure. I'm always willing to give her critique. It's kind of fun. Appreciate you wanting to learn. I think every artist is learning all the time, and as soon as you're not learning anymore, you know you're beyond critique. Then you've sort of ceased. You're done learning and progressing and improving, and everyone's always learning. I've traveled 4 times last year to study with different artists. I flew to 4 different states and stayed places, and spent a good amount of money so that I could study with artists and get better. Because it's that serious for me. I feel like I'm always studying to get better. Push this in just a little bit. Okay, let's do one more little bit, and I'm going to step back and look at this. Add a little bit of light. Oh, it's kind of blue, actually. Blue, purple, green, something up here, because we're getting some of that sky light. Darker down at the bottom, but then lighter. Where's my light blue? Light blue rim light as we hit the sky. We got blue on this side and yellow on the other side. Let's make this a little darker in here. And let's make this a little darker in the front. And a little more orange. Okay, let's take a break for a second. Can't forget to take a break. I just want to step back and look at this guy and see how he's looking. I might smush around some edges too. That might be a good time to do that now. Not that I want to blend them all away, but let's stand up real quick before I smush this to death. Let's blur some of this now. This is the magic of oil paint. Don't want to lose all of it, but I want to lose some of it. Just got my favorite little fan brush here. I can blend stuff to show contour by pushing it into a contour line. I can do some of this action. This is what you'll never get with acrylic. With acrylic, you're stuck with all these hard, ugly edges, and it makes your painting look stiff, and it kind of looks amateur, honestly. There's really no great way to put it. It just looks. It makes it look like cheap, you know, it's not as exciting. It's hard to say it any other way. Too many hard edges really can kill the painting. That's too much there. Yeah, I can adjust things. So he looks a little worried. I want him to look pissed, not worried. See, detailed, but still very loose and brushy. I'll do a much brighter rim light there. Showing some places I can darken up. And then when I add his eye detail, his eye irises and stuff, that'll really sell that face. Right now it's just like these eye sockets, which is fine. I'd rather place them first. Okay. Maybe I'll indicate some of this back is a kind of a greenish color back here. That way I can blend in. I don't want to detail hair and then paint the back over it, and now the edge is going the wrong way, so. I sort of had a darkish green. I might go with a darker green. Let me clear myself some room here. I try to keep the color on the palette in the same area as the color piles are. Okay, let's see. A gradation here would be nice. I could do more warm green to a cool green. To show that this warm light coming from here so let's start with my warmer green. Yeah, this doesn't need to be a lot of paint because I want that purple to show through. It's cool. It's so pretty. La la la. And then it's going to get a little more blue on this side. That will help show the gradation. So I can yank some of that hair away like this. Yank, yank. Maybe even do a touch of purple here. Ooh, that's a lot, but that's okay. Let's lighten it just a little bit. Ooh. Oh, that's his tail, which I don't want to completely cover. That's okay, it'll kind of fade into that background color. It'll push it back even further. You can put some on the legs there. That pushes his legs back a little further. Yeah, the camera feed's adding a lot of color saturation. It's a lot of color in it, but it's not that much. It's also very primary color-y looking. I need to sophisticate those colors up a little bit. Too much like yellow, red. Here's a tail. With a dark. Okay, now I can do this. I can blend this in a little bit. See how great that is? Oil paint, man, it just you can't do that any other way. I can add some highlight. See, I can paint with the fan brush too. I don't much, but you know, I suppose I should or could do more. Can add a little blue on that side of the tail. Okay. Let's make sure those ears are symmetrical. See, now it's, I don't like to necessarily paint with this because I want to have it ready so I can blend stuff. I also don't want to have mineral spirits all over it. So I don't want to kill the heat through the paint. I wish I had more than, I can't find these anymore. These little tiny fan brush. I don't know where I got it from, and I can't find them. It's frustrating. I can only find these big suckers like this, but I can't find this little tiny guy that's more dense and smaller. I can't find him. I wish I had like 3 of these. I would use them, but I can't find them. So unfortunately, I gotta be real careful. And I've already broken it once, and it's got duct tape on it. Okay, let's take a picture of this again. It's progressed a bit since. Yeah, but I don't have any yet. I don't have any really light lights yet. You know what I could do? I don't have like a nice bright white yellow. Add some glow before I do the highlights. That's the secret. Take the color of the glow and add it now. Here even, there's going to be a glow there. There's going to be some there. A little here. You can come back and touch up. So you can always come back and push stuff around. So now that that's there, this is my sort of really light. Not really, I don't really have a really light brush yet. This will work though. Bright, light yellow. See, now I got the glow there already, and I put my highlights in there, and it really sings. Let the brush and the paint do the work. I don't like that. It sticks out too far. Let me use the other hand. I can come at this angle. I could be real lazy and just blend that, which I almost did, but what I really should do, I really should get myself a transitional color. Right here. Nice. That's fun. So now I can blend that a little bit if I want. Add some hair texture in there without painting every single hair. I've got some hair texture by just pushing the paint around a little bit. Push every once in a while really gives a great Really just fling the paint around. Okay, yeah, that's enough. This paw has an edge facing the light, and it has a blue edge. This whole arm, there's an overlap there. There's giant paw. There's like big clefts of where the claws are. Oops. A little too high for that. Here's one. There's another one like here. And they kind of get a little more purple or something. Where's my blue? And I can really highlight some of those. That kind of gets a little more purpley in here. Dark. Nice. I can show a little bit of this paw top plane there. Now I got my light brush. Can carve away that. Call that a clipping stroke. And I can take some red, orange, and really show that reflected light underneath there. And we'll do a little transitional color there. A little more clip. Clip that a little more. Clip. And while I'm here, I can add some proper heavy lights in here too, to sort of smush those around. I need some hard edges here. 50 ways to leave your lover. Just slip out the back, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. Don't need to be coy, Roy. Just listen to me. About the bus, Gus. Don't need to discuss much. Just drop off the key, Lee, and set yourself free. Make a new plan, Stan. Don't need to be coy, Roy. Just listen to me. Oh, hop on the bus, Gus. Don't need to discuss much. Drop off the key, Lee, and get yourself free. Listening to Paul Simon's 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. That's pretty awesome. Here's some more under main stuff happening down there. It's got all kinds of greens and purples and stuff in it. It's fun. You got to see all the colors in there. You can't just see, oh, that's red. Red. Oh, that's blue. You know, there's all kinds of fun colors inside of everything. "50 ways to leave your lover. 50 ways to leave your lover. Just make back, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. Need to discuss. Don't need to be cold, Roy. Listen to me. Just hop on the bus, Gus. Don't need to discuss much. Just drop off the key, Lee. Get yourself free. Make it at the back, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. Don't need to be coy, Roy. Just listen to me. Just hop on the bus, Gus. Don't need to discuss much. And this has a fold of fur or whatever. This is all bluish purple stuff in here because it's facing this bluish sort of light. Here's this giant paw coming at us. Two main sort of planes on this one, or maybe three. This fold of fur is right there. It's kind of cool. Fun detail. Here's the lit plane of this paw. Really great lighting. I'm exaggerating the lighting a bit, which is really my job. Let's cut that off there. Maybe a little lower. There. Yeah, this it's almost a little pink purple, a little lighter though. And the front of this paw is kind of purple. This is in the shadow. The shadow. It's dark like my heart. And then he's got some indications of claws on this thing too. There's a claw like there. And there's one like there. And some real sort of carve in the middle, like a indicate a toe. There's a little bit of a highlight on one side. And then we got some really hot right at that edge, those transitions there. It's a little darker here. There might be another sort of pawish, something there too. Claw, I mean. It's real jagged there. Make sure I get this paw shaped right. Let's make this back one. See, this carves in. And this back paw is a little lower. Can roughen up that edge a tiny bit. That way it's like the back of his wrist. See, I'm not an anatomical expert for animals, but I know anatomy in general. And I can recognize when there is anatomy. And you compare it to people, because, you know, he's a mammal. Most life on Earth is pretty, you know, has a similar structure, because we all have similar ancestry. Do a little more of this sort of pink. Yeah, this is like he's even got that, the way his arm folds over, you know, he's got the same anatomy that we do with the radius folding over when you pronate your arm. So if you know that kind of stuff, it's really helpful. And I can indicate that a little better with some of this hair down here. I can make it wrap around that bit. And then take the old trusty fan brush and smush some stuff around. I feel like I need a little more of a light. Take some of this blue. I need a little more rim light there to show this coming out at us. A little more here too, maybe. Yeah, just to separate it from that back leg a little bit. Also, I think I can bring in this side of this paw a little bit. Yeah, that. There we go. Yeah, it was just too thick. Now there's this back leg. I can delineate that at the same time. And what I can do is I can take my blue. I can indicate a little bit of musculature back here. That's one of the vastus medius. There's an ankle bone. Yeah, that's where his tibialis anterior grips onto his foot. Tiny little bit lighter there. And then he's got some great rim light that will help me delineate this foot as well. A little overlap, and there's a bit of a paw that you can see. This is a great overlap too. See the couple indications of muscle and his ankle behind it. So you really see the musculature. We can see an indication of some paw stuff happening there. Not too much, it's kind of like buried in the brush or whatever. His back leg we're going to leave pretty whooshy because I want it to push back and I don't want it to be too detailed. The more details and the more harder edges, we'll just bring it right to the front. I feel like I need to show a touch more though, especially back here. I'm almost going to leave this edge almost lost. Kind of helps make it more interesting. Almost blends into the background. If you guys like what you're watching here, please follow the channel. This is the Incredible Art Gallery's channel. I'm currently the main artist who paints on here. Well, currently the only artist who paints on here, but we will eventually have other artists to join us as well. So yeah, please follow us. We just recently got approved to have subscriptions, so we can now start adding cool subscriber benefits and stuff. So if you're into that, that's available as well. We haven't put it together yet, but follow us and that stuff is happening. So let's do a little more light on this side of the tail. Let's do his eyes now, because that'll really make his face work. Yeah, and I'll see if I can zoom in here so you guys can really see that. There we go. Hopefully I won't get in the way of the camera. Got my little tiny brushes. Drink water real quick. My bottle makes the funniest noises. They're sort of darkish, greenish. All right, where's my stick? Ground control to Major Tom. Commencing countdown, engines on. Press ignition and may God's love be with you. Yeah, they'd probably be yellow orange if we could see them in the light. This is Major Troll to Major Tom. You've really made the grade. The papers want to know whose shirts you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in the most peculiar way. And the stars look very different today. And here, and I'm sitting in the tin can, far above the world. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. I freaking love David Bowie. See, big, rough, crazy strokes for a lot of stuff, and then sometimes you need to come in here and get super focused. Past 100,000 miles, I'm feeling very still, and I hope my spaceship knows which way to go. Tell my wife I love her very much, she knows. Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead. There's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear? And I'm floating in a tin can, oh, above the moon. Planet Earth is blue, and nothing I can do. Okay, these eyes are real critical. Window to the soul, right? Can bring this in a little more. Bring this up a little more. Make sure they're symmetrical. I love how big cats tend to have this sort of underlying white fur underneath their eyes. It's really cool. If I had a Patronus, it would be a big cat of some kind, I'm sure of it. Maybe it would have started out as like a little house cat, but as I got better, it would get bigger and scarier. I can carve in this a little bit. And then there's a highlight. What color is the highlight? Let's use a little tiny brush for that little liner. The highlight is never white. It's always a color. It might be a sort of a light blue. You know, not too light, but lighter. Yeah, that adds a lot of character. Just those highlights even, geez. It adds so much character to the whole face. Let's do a touch more here. Wonder what this guy was charging at. Need a few more details around his face that I'm seeing now that I'm this close. Some of these like whisker spots. He probably has whiskers that I don't. Yeah, I guess I can't see them in the picture I've got. I don't know if they're like flattened back or what. I don't want to put them in and have them look weird. I might do a couple subtle indications of it. Let me just see what other else details I need to show on his head here. There's some sort of light orangey things happening here, a little lighter than that. Light orange, blue, whatever's happening here. And I can, yeah, these furrows around his eyes are really crucial. They show all this emotion and detail in his face. Sometimes I just like to poke the paint on there. Just sort of smush it into the right spot. It also sort of blends edges together, adds some cool detail. Like I'm letting the brush do the work for me. It's my thing. Let the bristles sort of smush in a way that I couldn't have planned. I could take a little tiny brush and do a million little things, and it won't be as good as one of that brush. A little darker. Some more sort of furrows in here. Anything else I'm missing? And I'll do some indications of some grass in the front. I could probably do this a little more. Indicate where this muzzle turns up the face, as well as this inside cheekbone there. Where's my little fan brush? I could smush some of this a little bit. I said I was going to try to do some whiskers. Let's see what happens if I just do a couple. I'm assuming they're going to be like back. So they might be like pushing backwards, so that might not be as long as what we could see them. We'll do a couple subtle indications of them. Don't need a ton. Okay, let's do a little more of this grass on the ground. I think I'm nearing the completion of this one here. Back up a little bit. Sorry for the bounciness, just wobbling, getting the camera in the right spot. There we go. I had this cool suspension system that I set up. Rather than a tripod, I can move the camera out wherever I want. Very quickly. It's really nice. Okay, let's say some light yellowish green. I need to do some of this stuff down here. So I left this great red, indicating, you know, kind of the fire quality of this guy's namesake. I do actually need it a little higher so I can get underneath it with the brush. There we go. So I can come down here underneath. So basically holding the brush like this, just otherwise it hits the palette. It's too low. I can't get it. And I can do some sort of grasses, some foreground, something in front of the tiger, lion. And I can do some purple and something fun. Also can push the composition back in this way. So here that it swoops up to the left and pushes. Let's blur some of these a little bit. I can take it and sort of just smush. That's how Bob Ross does clouds. That's kind of what I'm doing now. Let's do a little more light. Some of this bright, great, dusty stuff. Let the brush do the work. And then I can show some debris. Just make sure you don't do too repetitive of pieces here. And I can take up my fan brush and blur a little bit here and there. Where's my light? I can hit hard some really light stuff in here. Oh, there's a hair. Bristle off the brush or whatever. Let's find that edge. There we go. Maybe I'll soften some of this to show that it's not the lion. It's the background. Awesome. Do a little more of this sort of scratchy stuff for some ground. Don't want to cover it all up. I want to leave this red. It's cool looking. Do another. These little compositional things, these directional, like this grass, it's very intentional and it's very effective. Pushes the eye back up in. Okay. I have to say, I like in my reference there's a little bit of real subtle light sort of colors up here. Just a couple. I'm going to use those. Just as another background element. Also can put some of this orange into the background to make it fit a little better. You know, distribute your colors. Let's do a little fun spritzy stuff. With the spritz, I need to wear my mask so that I don't die from eventual paint inhalation. Now I'm ready to go to the grocery store. Where did I put my brush for that? A little bit of medium. We'll do some light yellow first. I just kind of use this as a finishing touch. Tap in whatever little spots I don't like. Let's do a little blue version of that. For this spot right here. Nice. Maybe we'll do that up here too, to show this blue area. Maybe we'll add some more blue and make it really blue. Adds a lot of subtle detail, so subtle glowy stuff, without disturbing my brushwork. Take another one. Let's do some orange. right in here. Right there, there's some too. Cool. Yeah, that adds a lot of sort of energy, spurtiness. Let's take this dark. I'm going to do a couple well-placed overlap. Make the grass overlap just a couple places. It's your bravery test, as Bob Ross would call it. There's something in front of us, between us and the lion. Helps push it back a little further because now there's something in between the subject and us. I call this the extreme foreground. Because here's the foreground, here's the background, and now we just added another layer. Okay. I paint all over my hands before I put my headphone back in. I think that about wrapped this one up. Feel free to ask any questions if you guys want. I have a little bit of story about this particular lion. It's actually a specific lion that my client wanted me to do. His name is Ntwatumela, which I said earlier, he who greets with fire. That's kind of why I did this red sort of quality underneath here. And you know, it's really important for us to acknowledge that these beautiful animals exist and are in danger of becoming not existed because we encroach their territory. You know, we you know, they're hunted a lot. So you know, the fact that they're there, but they might not soon be there because of us. So you know, this particular character, this particular lion, Ntwatumela, actually in like the 90s, he was hunted and killed by trophy hunters. So some jerk hunter has this guy's head on his wall so that he could sit in a jeep and take a rifle and shoot him from 100 yards away and kill this beautiful, majestic creature. You know, it's really terrible and sad. The fact that they're also like close to extinction, you know, they're literally becoming endangered. I think we have more lions in captivity than there are actually in the wild. So it's really, you know, sad. So I'm going to, you know, take my proceeds from this particular lion painting, and donate it to the Nature Conservancy to help protect wildlife refuges and spaces and you know, pristine wilderness places where animals like this live, so that they can't get trophy hunted and they can't get encroached upon by people, and you know, their forests burned down so we can raise cattle, so we can eat hamburgers. Like, you know, we really need to be aware of that kind of stuff. So I'm personally, I donate when I can to organizations like that, which I will be with this piece. So I encourage you to do the same thing also. You know, support organizations that do this kind of thing, and at the when you go vote, make sure your candidate actually cares about this kind of stuff, the environment and wildlife and, you know, conservation and climate change and all that kind of stuff. It's really important. So anyway, just a little story on this poor guy. Beautiful, powerful creature. Ntuatudela. I have trouble saying his name. Ntuatumela. Ntuatumela. He who greets with fire. Well, he was greeted with a rifle, and now his head is on somebody's wall. So as terrible as that is, it's a beautiful story, and it just reminds us that this is really important. So I'm really appreciative of my client, Steve, who is having me do this for him. Hope you and your daughter really enjoy this piece, and I hope, you know, it, you know, continues to remind you guys, like it sounds like you've mentioned to me that it does, that this kind of stuff is like just of the utmost importance. And if we're going to pass anything on to our next generation, it's let's protect these animals and keep them in the wild before they're only in zoos, and then eventually not even there. You know, it's like, how sad would it be to, oh, remember this lion in a picture book? That's all they exist now, is in a picture book. You know, for kids, you read them this book, and that's all they can see. They'll never be able to see them in a zoo even, because they're gone. So anyway, that's it for my soapbox. Just giving you some background on this guy, since I painted him today, and it's only fair, you know, it seems lame for me to profit off of this. So I felt that story was important, so that's why I told it. So yeah, well, thanks guys, thanks for watching. Glad you guys tuned in. I'm going to clean up here. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to ask. I can be going for a few more minutes while I'm just cleaning up my paint and my brushes and stuff. I'm happy to answer any questions, do a little Q&A. Go ahead and type it into the chat thing there. I know that wasn't the most eloquent of speeches, but you know, my brain is in painting mode right now. It's really hard to talk and form complete sentences when I'm thinking all the visual languages that are required to make a painting like this happen. So forgive the bumbly nature of that, but you get the idea. I almost feel like if that was going to get like recorded and shared online, like, oh shit, I should have prepared something. I should have actually wrote something out. I can write pretty well when I have a chance. Off the cuff, I'm alright, but after painting, forget it. I did a few paintings that I'm using for this same purpose. Earlier this year, I did a painting of Paris, which I sold, and will be donating that money to the Nature Conservancy. It's sort of an abstract metaphor in reference to the Paris Climate Accord that we are still in the process of pulling out of, which makes me just furious. Our current administration doesn't believe in climate change. And I guess it doesn't matter for them because they'll all be dead before it actually has any real impact on us. So good for them. But so I did that painting, which I sold, and I'm donating that money. I'll be doing the money from this piece. I have another painting I did of two lions surrounded by fire, and it's really heartbreaking. It's kind of an idea I had a long time ago, but I'm also that painting is still for sale, but I was going to do that as a donation as well. That kind of stuff just basically helps promote the idea conservancy and climate awareness and all that kind of stuff in a really beautiful, fun way that you can appreciate. And it's what I can do to help raise some money for the cause. I've had some other ideas as well. Um, so I'll be putting some more things together. Just kind of going to be an ongoing thing I'm doing. So anyway, any questions, please ask them there in the chat. Before it's too late, because once I sign off, I'm done for the day, which I'll be doing after this. I had another painting I was going to start working on today, but it's 3:30 and I'm leaving here by like 5 something. I'm going to dinner at the family. Nothing. Whoa. And we still wear our masks and we sit 6 feet away from each other and it's kind of awkward. But we're still socially responsible, distancing as much as we can be. We're getting takeout from a restaurant nearby, so it's nice to support our local restaurants. There's a few here in Denver that I really try hard to support. There's a coffee shop on Santa Fe Drive called Coffee, MMM Coffee. They had a gallery space there that I've shown at a couple times, and they're super nice. The people who own that place, Jamie and Derek. So if you're in Denver and you want a great cup of coffee, it's a paleo restaurant too. It's a paleo coffee shop. It's Coffee on Santa Fe. And then we know the guys at the Rocky Yama Sushi across the street. Try to go there and get takeout when we can. Those guys are really cool. The guy behind the counter cutting the sushi, the sushi chef there, he's actually, it's funny, he looks like he could be Japanese, and he's been doing sushi for 30 years, but he's actually from Acapulco, Mexico. His name is Luis, and he does some amazing sushi. I've never really been a big, huge seafood sushi person, but I sort of started doing it more just to support this restaurant, actually. I've been having sushi more often than I ever have before, just as an excuse to go in here and support these guys. So if you like sushi and you're on Santa Fe Drive, Rocky Yama Sushi, which is funny because that's Japanese for Rocky Mountain Sushi, because that's where we are, is by the Rocky Mountains. Kind of clever. Anyway. Okay, well, if there aren't any questions, then I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm Christopher Clark. You can follow me online at Instagram and Facebook is Christopher Clark Art. And then please follow the gallery's Twitch page here, and the gallery's Facebook and YouTube and stuff. It's Incredible Art Gallery. And yeah, we're starting a Patreon page, and we can finally start offering subscriptions here on Twitch. So we're gonna have some cool subscriber features and benefits, like access to all these streams that I've done, both in time-lapse form or in the full uncut forms, like what we've done online, so you can study from those if you like, or you just like the entertainment and watching. We're going to have discounts for buying stuff on our website, both in prints and originals. We might have a thing where maybe you get first dibs in originals. That's a possibility that just occurred to me now. We keep thinking of new benefits. And then also being able to have access to some of my sketches that I do, just for fun or concepting for pieces. Having access to those as part of your Twitch or Patreon subscription. So some fun stuff there. So yeah, please follow us. So you'll also be notified next time I'm online streaming, if you enjoy watching me do that. Okay. and wash 1,000 brushes at once here. So awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I'm Christopher Clark, and I will see you guys next time.